Good afternoon, 12 noon, Thursday, February 9th, 2023. I want to discuss a new book I wrote, The Best Gloves on the Baseball Field, Baseball's All-Time Defensive Player Matchups. This book I wrote, it's on Amazon, focus on defense. Who are the greatest defensive players of all time at their position? I spent a lot of time not looking at the offense, but looking at defense. What do I mean? In playing on the defensive side in a baseball game, what's involved? Here is what is involved. I've got catchers, obviously, pitcher, catcher, defense, right? Pitcher throws it, but if there's a ball hit to him, he has to play defense. Field it, throw him out. Catchers receiving the ball, pick off plays, throwing batters out, throwing runners out on the bases. That's their defense. First baseman receiving throws from the outfield and infield. Second baseman receiving throws, throwing the first, second, or third, or home. Shortstop, same thing, right? He can throw to any base. Third baseman, same thing. Left fielder, primarily catching flies, retrieving base hits, throwing to the right base. Center field, same thing. Right field, same. Center field. So what do you have? You have chances. You have putouts. You have assist. You have errors. So you have double plays. You have innings played. And you have your percentage. So I focused on all these things and ran up all the numbers. It was a lot of work, but it was fun doing it. Catchers, there are 16, and I focused on the Hall of Fame players only. There's so many baseball players who have played the position, and some are really good, some are average, and some are poor. But for this book, Hall of Fame players. 16 catchers are in the Hall of Fame, 26 first basemen, 19 second basemen, 14 third basemen, 23 shortstops, 21 left fielders, 17 center fielders, 26 right fielders, and 75 pitchers in the Hall of Fame. What did I focus on? First chapter, games played. Which catcher played the most games? Who's in the Hall of Fame at the catching position? Ivan Rodriguez, 2,427. This video in this book, I'm going to cover the best defensive catchers of all time. And who do you pick? Let me list them. Ivan Rodriguez, Carlton Fisk, Gary Carter, Rick Farrell, Gabby Hartnett, Ted Simmons, Johnny Bench, Ray Chalk, Bill Dickey, Yogi Berra, Ernie Lombardi, Mike Piazza, Mickey Cochran, Roy Campanella, Roger Bresnahan, and Buck Ewing. 16 catchers in the Hall of Fame. Who had the most games played? Ivan Rodriguez. 2,427 games catch. Wow, isn't that something? All right, let's look at fielding percentage. Games played. Now, fielding percentage for catchers. Who had the best? Two guys tied. Ivan Rodriguez and Gary Carter had a 991 fielding percentage. How about that? All right, chances is my next chapter. Among catchers, who had the most chances? Ivan Rodriguez, 16,233. But he played the most games, so he had more chances. You know what I did? I took all the catchers and I presupposed, what if they played the same number of games as Ivan Rodriguez? 2,427 games. So I took all these 16 guys and I said, they all play the same number of games, and I mathematically presuppose what would their chances have been. You know who came out on top? Mike Piazza. He had 7.6 chances per games. What I did was I added, see, Mike Piazza, where is he? He played 1,530 games. Ivan Rodriguez, 2427. So I added 897 games for Piazza at 7.6 chances per game. Came out that he would have had 18,518 chances if he played the same number of games as Ivan Rodriguez. So I'm going to say out of chances, Mike Piazza would have had the most as a catcher based on his percentage of chances per game. What do you think of that analysis? Do you like it or dislike it? I kind of like it. It gives me an idea that who would have been the one catcher with the most chances if they all play the same number of games. Mike Piazza comes out on top. Isn't that interesting? Putouts. Same scenario. Ivan Rodriguez had the most putouts, 14,864. But if you add the games of all these catchers and their percentage of what they did in their stats, it turns out that Mike Piazza would also have the most putouts if you add 897 more games, so he ties Ivan Rodriguez, because he averaged 6.6 putouts per game. How about that? Mike Piazza would have had the most chances and the most putouts if he's played the same number of games as Ivan Rodriguez. Assist. Who had the most assists among catchers in the Hall of Fame? Ray Chalk, 1,811 assists. But Ray Chalk played 1,727 games. Why don't we presuppose that Ray Chalk plays 2,427 games, just like Ivan Rodriguez? He averaged 1.6 assists per game. So you add the 1,791 games, and he comes out on who comes out on top? Ray Chalk had the most, 1,811. But if you have all the catchers play the same number of games, and you look at their percentage of assists per game, who would come out number one? It was Buck Ewing. He had 1,017 assists, but he averaged 1.6 assists per game. He would have ended up with 3,882 assists if he played 2,427 games. Ray Chalk had the most, but Buck Ewing comes out on top if he played 2,427 games at assist. What do you think of that? The next category would be double plays. Who among catchers had the most double plays? Ray Chalk again. He had 222 double plays in his career. But if you presuppose and say if he played the same number of games, if all the catchers played the same number of games, who would have the most double plays? Look at their percentage of what they did in their career. Add the games. Who comes out on top? It'll have been Ray Chalk. So Ray Chalk leads in assist. Buck Ewing would come out on top of assist if he plays all those games. But in double plays, Ray Chalk leads in double plays, and if you do all the games extra, Ray Chalk leads in double plays there also. Following me? How about errors? Who had the fewest errors? Before I get to errors, let's do innings played. Which catcher in the Hall of Fame had the most innings? Ivan Rodriguez, 20,348 innings catching. Woo! So, since he played all those games, he leads in innings. But how about fewest errors? Which catcher had the fewest errors? Turns out that Roy Campanella had the fewest errors out of the 16 catchers, but he only played 1,349 games. So what you have to do is, who has the most games? Ivan Rodriguez, right? 2,427. Make all the catchers play the same number of games. Who, according to their percentage, had the fewest errors? Johnny Bench had 97 errors. In how many games did he catch? 1,742. Add 685 more games, Johnny Bench would equal the total of Ivan Rodriguez. But he comes out on top because according to his percentage, he would have ended up with the fewest errors. He would only have had 131 errors. He had 97. If he played 85 more games, he would have ended up with 131 according to what he was averaging per game as far as fewest errors. Following me? I think that's interesting there, don't you think? So when I did this book, I looked at the games played, their chances, putouts, assists, innings, double plays, fewest errors, and I did all the percentages and all the stats, and I had to come up and ask myself this question. Out of the 16 catchers in the Hall of Fame, who was the best on defense? So I went through all the stats of what they did. And you're going to be mad at me because it turns out that Gary Carter was the best defensive catcher of all time. Agree or disagree? Let me prove it. Gary Carter ranked 3 in games played. He had the 3rd most games played. He ranked number 2 in fielding percentage. He was behind Ivan Rodriguez. Gary Carter had a very good, he was 9.990 fielding percentage. Gary Carter ranked 4th in chances, 3rd in putouts, 6th in assists. Out of the 16 they rank, 8th in double plays, 3rd in innings, and 4th in fewest errors. So what I did was I added, okay, he's third in games played, so 3 plus 2 in fielding percentage is 5, plus 4 in chances, plus 3 in putouts, plus 6 in assists, 8 in double plays, 3 in innings, 4 in fewest errors. His total score is 33. Out of the 16 catchers, he has the lowest score. So if you're going to look at that, he had the best rating among them all. Ivan Rodriguez came in second at 35, his total score. He ranked 1 in games played, 1 in fielding percentage, 3rd in chances, 2nd in putouts, but he was 11th in assists, 13th in double plays, 1 in innings, and 3rd in fewest errors. His total score is 35, but Gary Carter beats him, 33. Who was 3rd? Johnny Bench. 4th, Carlton Fisk. 5th, Yogi Berra. 6th, Gabby Hartnett. 7th, Rick Farrell. 8th, Ray Chalk. 9th, Bill Dickey. 10th, Ted Simmons. 11th, Mike Piazza. 12, Buck Ewing. 13, Mickey Cochran. 14, Roy Campanella. 15, Roger Bresnahan. And 16, Ernie Lombardi. Do you consider Gary Carter the best defensive catcher of all time? I know there are Johnny Bench fans out there, and there's Ivan Rodriguez fans, and Yogi Berra fans, and Carlton Fisk fans. But according to my analysis in this book, I looked at all the numbers. That's what I came up with. Agree or disagree? How did I come up with the numbers? I looked at their career and I looked at their stats. I looked, how many games did they play? That's number 1. Where do they rank? Then I looked at fielding percentage. What was their rank? Chances, how many chances did they get? How many putouts? How many assists? How many double plays? How many innings played? And how many fewest errors? What was the number of fewest errors they had? Gary Carter came out number 1. He's a good catcher. Durable. He's in the Hall of Fame. All these guys are in the Hall of Fame. You guys may say, well, Johnny Bench was the best catcher of all time. I can't squabble with that. Great catcher. But according to the ranking and according to all the stats, he came in number 3. What about Ivan Rodriguez? All those games played. He came in number 2. Yogi Berra or Carlton Fisk, number 4. The top 5. Gary Carter, Ivan Rodriguez, Johnny Bench, Carlton Fisk, Yogi Berra. You may say Johnny Bench should be number 1. But his score, Johnny Bench ranked 7th in games played. 3rd in fielding percentage. 5th in chances. 4th in putouts. 12th in assists, 9th in double plays, 7th in innings, and 1 in fewest errors. So his total score was 48. Let me give you the scores. Gary Carter, 33. Ivan Rodriguez, 35. Johnny Bench, 48. Carlton Fisk, 60. Yogi Berra, 62. Gabby Hartnett, 67. Rick Farrell, 69. Ray Chalk, 69. Bill Dickey, 70. Ted Simmons, 71. Mike Piazza, 71. Buck Ewing, 74. Mickey Cochran, 74. Roy Campanella, 81. Roger Bresnahan, 84. And Ernie Lombardi came in last, 101. Stats do not lie. All right, according to the catchers, who is the best defensive catcher of all time? Debatable. But according to my analysis, Gary Carter wins it. All right, my next video will be first baseman. Who was the best first baseman defensively of all time? And in order to find out, you got to look at their stats and what they did. We'll get to it next. Thanks for watching here. I'm out.